Welcome to the Business Miracles Podcast. I'm Heather Dominick, founder of BusinessMiracles.com and author of the book Different, the Highly Sensitive Leadership Revolution, found at differentthebook.com. Since 2010, I've been training highly sensitive entrepreneurs and leaders from around the globe to work less while making more impact and income by doing things differently. I'm so glad you joined me. Listen in and get ready. Get ready for a shift in the way you view yourself, your work, your life. A business miracle. This is a Course in Business Miracles podcast, episode 177. Burnout doesn't get you paid. In this episode, I'm teaching you a pretty easy breezy yet super practical system to help you maintain the energy of your intentions so you can create impact and sustainable results in your business throughout the entire year, rather than stop and go, or even worse, burning out to a complete stop. I'm also going to share with you how I personally work with this system to stay balanced and keep my energy focused so that I can be in consistent action, even through unexpected change. As an HSP in business and leadership, not only does burnout feel bad, it won't get you paid. Intention, a thing intended, an aim or plan, the healing process of a wound. It is your intentions backed by the power of free will that creates actualization. Your weekly plan is your intention in motion. It is that which you are aiming for in the midst of a week time frame. It is your plan, the path that you are walking for that week. And it is the process of healing as you take the actions within your weekly plan. It is also how you maintain the energy of your intentions throughout a 12-month time frame. It's as if you take the grand or zoom out intentions and break those intentions down into weekly baby steps. It's how then your intention actualizes versus the process of empty resolution declaration. So the question to ask each week is, where might a disconnect be happening? Where might a disconnect be happening between those intentions that you so deliberately set and the way that you're actually using your energy throughout the week? Because when we're working from an 80%er frame or a socialized frame, an act such as setting intentions becomes separate from the actions that we're taking on a day-to-day basis. Yet, as highly sensitive entrepreneurs, we tend to not work well in compartmentalization. With the way our nervous system is wired, it is an open antenna. So even when you try to keep yourself compartmentalized or separate, integration is happening. So then the question becomes, is that integration conscious or unconscious? Meaning, your weekly plan is your intention in motion. Is it the intention you set, or is it an unconscious intention? That's the question. So let's look at the energetics or the energetical of weekly planning. So first of all, the power of divine free will backs your weekly plan. The power of divine free will backs your weekly plan. It is your choice every week. How are you going to actualize your intention? How are you going to consciously, or again, unconsciously, use your attention and your energy? What can further support the power of divine free will when it comes to the energetical of weekly planning is the power of intentional release. Write that down. The power of intentional release. This is an act you can bring into your energy management, into the setting of your weekly plan. You can bring in the power of intentional release to, again, energy management, power of weekly planning by asking for guidance weekly on what and how to let go. Let's write that down. What and how to let go. To ask for guidance on clearing out and giving away what you no longer need. Physically, unused items, material things that you've outgrown, and energetically, habits, dependencies, unhealthy boundaries, relationships that are no longer serving your highest good. Intentional release, utilizing the power of divine free will to let go so you can let in. Then the power of zeal, Z-E-A-L, an old-fashioned word that I'm leading the charge on bringing back into popularity. The power of zeal. Also, as part of weekly planning, to affirm optimism, abundance, and enthusiasm in your day-to-day business and overall living. Now, some of us have been utilizing the practice, the core practice of the 5 yays from the track training on celebratory energy. And that's a simple practice at the end of each day, writing down 5 yays. Yay, I had a cup of coffee. Yay, I took a walk. Yay, I followed through on that self-assessment. Yay, I remembered to brush my teeth. Yay, I wore my favorite color. Very easy. A great core practice to stay connected to that power of zeal. To support power of divine free will. Power of divine free will as part of weekly planning, which then leads us to the practical of weekly planning. You are weekly planning by consistently updating from last week's plan and creating a focus for this week's plan, setting a weekly focus of 1 to 4 primary actions that you'll take throughout the week. 1 to 4. And I really emphasize the simplicity of that focus. as we continue to live through these exceptional times, when there is so much intensity, there's so much happening, to keep a simple focus is much more effective for us HSEs and leaders than a never-ending to-do list. Please write that down. To have a simplified focus, 1 to 4 actions weekly, is much more effective than a never-ending to-do list. There is no reward for being over busy except burnout. That old century martyrdom or definition of success, the busier you are, the more you've gotten done, is that badge of productivity. Those days, 1, never worked for us as highly sensitives to begin with, 2, are over. You might choose from the buffet the 30-day plan. That would give you an opportunity to get more detailed about what you want to create from your intuitive plan within a 30-day time frame. You could also choose the 3-day plan. That might be when you know in one particular week, say you have like a big project focus coming up. Maybe you have a presentation, right? I've been seeing on the forum lots of showing up for interviews, webinars, presentations. That would be a way that you can build out into a bigger focus within a 3-day time frame or within 3 days within a week to support a specific project. Now, I would not recommend that you put all of those on your tray all at the same time, because then you're in Las Vegas and trying to eat as much as you can and getting overstuffed and overfull. So you make the decision intuitively and intentionally. With that, let me talk about how I personally work with my weekly plan, especially when faced with unexpected situations. So again, I emphasize the 1 to 3 intended actions for the week. During our time off at the end of December for end of year, did I create a weekly plan for those weeks off? You bet I did. And those weekly plans looked very different. So, for example, during that week between Christmas and New Year's, I had one item, and that item was surrender. You don't not weekly plan, because your weekly plan is your intention in motion. But it is your divine free will of how you create your weekly plan. If you're choosing not to create a weekly plan, then you are setting and fulfilling the intention of lack of consistency. And consistency is more important than life. Please write that down. Consistency is more important than life, because it's consistency that creates your life. So if you're starting when it comes to weekly planning, it's no mystery of why you feel like what you want to create is stopping and starting. It doesn't need to be hard, yet it does or is meant to be intentional. When you are consistent with your weekly plan, then your weekly plan is there to support you with unexpected change. Now, my last intellectual choice would have been to come back from time off and face a major change. Yet that is what happened. And that I had my weekly plan set helped to keep the energy focused, helped to keep me balanced rather than everything in my life going up and out the window with going from 0 to 100 from time off back into time in with an unexpected change. I still was able to take all the actions, which included taking care of myself, being able to support all of you, and to manage an unexpected change. So this is the power of weekly planning. And it is the power of conscious re-return. So if you haven't yet started weekly planning, you begin now. What I have discovered for myself is often I will map out my weekly plan, and it's not like I don't use it, but often I don't look at it, right? I set it, I don't look at it, I go into my week, and then at the end of the week when I'm going to update, swear to God, half the time I'm like, holy crap. I totally forgot that I put that down on my weekly plan, but that totally happened. And that is that 5D effortlessness, right? And that's brilliant. That is so brilliant. That is absolutely a miracle because it's the exact opposite, the exact antithesis of those New Year resolutions, right? That so many people set. And then at the end of the year, they're like, oh, wait, what was that? And nothing's changed. We don't have to make it so hard. And often just by having it as part of that weekly plan, that is the intention in motion. And it can happen without you having to make it happen and drive it across the finish line. If there's something on your weekly plan and it's just not happening, typically what that indicates is that it's meant to be chunked down into smaller, doable baby steps. And that's really valuable. So then it doesn't become about it's done or it's not done. It is about what's the next baby step. I don't know about you, but I, in many regards, feel like I'm just pummeled with consistent change these days. And as part of the consistent change is the experience of repeated loss. And I know for myself, I happen to be an individual who has a lot of experience with loss. There's pros and cons to that. And even with my experience with loss, what that has allowed for me is a level of awareness to allow for the experience. There is a call for resilience as part of the reactions to change. And I really emphasize that is though unwanted, perhaps as a preference, if we allow ourselves to just default to older ways of almost like, I'm just going to go back to the phrasing, older ways of reacting to change, then we just kind of cycle through, right? Versus, again, though not necessarily preferred, each change does provide an opportunity for a strengthening. And so my point being, both exist simultaneously. meaning allowing the feeling and the loss while also recognizing the opportunity, and that it's not meant to be one or the other, and that we can actually be fluid between both. And this actually really does connect to weekly planning. This is exactly what I was talking about, right? Is that it's not compartmentalized. So when we're managing a change, when we're managing a loss, that's meant to be part of the weekly plan. You build it in. You bring it into the energy management. You bring it into an act of prayer and calm. You bring it into the actions you're taking. Because as highly sensitives, when we have a nervous system that's untrained, then our life can feel like it is not our own. That we are like a puppet that is tossed around by various changes and then therefore experiences of loss. Personally, I have moments where it just feels like a pummeling of consistent change. And if I take the reactive approach, I will be a highly sensitive puddle. And that's a new use of the acronym HSP. Versus if I take a proactive response to change, which is that reactions to change training, then I am becoming a master at both feeling the feelings that come with change and loss, while also simultaneously recognizing the opportunity and that they are not separate. It is not an either or. There is the opportunity for both and. So can we be in a space of both acknowledging feelings of change and loss, while also recognizing that there is a best in opportunity? And I'm not saying that's an immediate skill to acquire. It is a process for sure. Because here's what I can tell you, my friends. It's not going away anytime soon. We are in it. People are going to look back years from now, and they're going to want to know, what was it like? What did you do? What did you choose? So it's either going to take us out, or we're going to rise above. And every moment of change is another choice, action, choice, action. It's a mastery course. Some of us would say, I didn't ask for this. Some would say, your soul chose it. Either way, the choice is always ours. The tools, the teachings, the trainings are there to support us as highly sensitives through each of the changes and through the continuation of these exceptional times. And again, it's not in any way like a disconnect when I truly, truly say, and part of that is weekly planning. Because if I personally was not working consistently weekly by reconnecting to my heart plan, my intuition, with an update and a focus, I do honestly feel I would be that HSP, highly sensitive puddle. Yet it doesn't need to be that way. So we have the power of divine free will. We have the power of release, intentional release. And we have the power of zeal. And that is available. And we do have the power of intentions in motion through weekly update and weekly focus. And that is how we stay above the fray. It's how we stay connected to 5D. It's how we are in the act of highly sensitive leadership training and what it means to be in a space of ongoing mastery. Keyword, ongoing. Thank you for being a part of this Business Miracles podcast episode and for beginning to dip your toe into the journey of highly sensitive leadership training. If you are ready to truly use your sensitivities as strengths in all parts of your work and life, I invite you to connect for a one-on-one chat. You will experience being deeply listened to, and together we'll get a sense of whether the highly sensitive leadership training programs are the best next step for you and your highly sensitive journey at this time. Just go to www.claritycall.com to schedule a conversation. We so look forward to connecting with you. Talk to you soon.